How's it going, guys? Midway Piper back with you today. Um, it's going to be a Pipes and Books episode, Friday Reads. Um, First things first, thank you to all you who left comments on yesterday's video. Doing a bit better today. That seasonal affective disorder is it's getting real, but as you can see behind me, it's blue skies. I debatably don't need this other jacket on, but it's right around 30 degrees right now. Snowed again last night. The roads were covered for my drive home. But this morning, pretty much most of it's all melted off, so can't complain. Best kind of snow. It last night it was a little bit on the icy side, but by the time I got up and out this morning, it was nice and light and leaf blower. It's the best tool to get rid of it at that point. So yeah, I just did this area and a couple others just to expedite the snow melting. Try to get some of that sun on the ice that's below it. That'd be great for all that to get out of here and get back out into the woods in the backyard instead of over here. But hey, what can you do? Housekeeping. I got Bert, my 7LE 311 meal or melee or the honey one. Beautiful pipe. Beautiful pipe. And there's a reason I'm smoking this one today. I know it's Falcon Friday. I'm straying, but there's a reason. Get to that in a second. In it. Man, I really miss this stuff. Some Watch City cigar. Ahab's Comfort. Really can't read that. It's Ahab's Comfort. There we are. My horrible handwriting. So, speaking of that, yesterday's video I asked if any of you guys are taking advantage of the online sales, and I almost did last night. I almost did. But, see, when I get into a bit of a depressive funk, normally something good comes out of it. And I was about to hit buy in the cart, and I looked at how much I was actually saving, which was a couple of dollars. And I thought about everything I have here already, because I like to get smaller samples of things, see if I like them. And so I've ordered a lot of things. There's a couple blends I have a good amount of. Ahab's Comfort is one of them. I will probably always have a good supply of this stuff because it's fantastic. This might be my Desert Island blend, honestly, at this point. Cornell and Deal Bayou Morning mixture. Got a lot of that. My St. Chiruno blend, I've got several ounces of that. Maybe 8 ounces of that. I've got a big old 8 ounces or so of X1X blend. What else do I got? I stocked up on Burley Morning Pipe and Handsome Stranger when those were available from Ken Byron, so I got a couple pouches of each of those. So I just got a lot of samples and stuff. So to be honest, do I really need to spend another $50? Not really. So I didn't. And honestly, this morning, I have no regrets. So it's still there in the cart. I'll spend maybe, a couple extra dollars when it's, if I decide to order that stuff in the next whenever. But really don't need it. So sometimes being a little bit of a depressive funk helps me put things into perspective. So that's that. So why am I smoking my 311 today? One, because I wanted to. But two, I also just watched a video from Sonoran Slinger, and I wanted to answer his question. So hold on just 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. My wife just got back from the dog park. There's nobody at the dog park, so that was a bust. Oh well. All right, so real quick, back to sort of a quick VR to Sonoran Slinger. The answer to your question of which of Trump's friends is going to end up in jail, or any president for that matter, is no one. I do agree. I do agree. See, this is the problem with the MAGA movement, is they see Trump as a savior. I've talked about this in previous videos. They have a savior complex. And when you have a savior complex about a person, about a human, a man, you're always going to be disappointed. So, that's the answer to your question. Am I happy to see some of the things that are happening? Sure. But no, I don't think he's going to be the greatest thing for this country. And I think I think we're going to see that coming up shortly, is Doge makes their way through all the departments and does their purges. I think we're going to see a lot more spending than people are hoping to see. In fact, I was just watching this morning. Yeah, this morning I was watching a speech given by Rand Paul to the Senate. And the Senate is putting forth a spending bill which is going to further increase government spending. Yeah. With no directive of where the money that's being saved is going to go to. They just want to ask for more money, borrow more money. Again. That should have been the point of this whole Doge thing, is that we stop spending money on stupid things, have more accountability for the spending we do have, and to cut down our debt and what we're borrowing as a country. So there's going to be but people are going to be so high on what Doge is finding that they're going to forgive anything like that. So that's my thoughts on that whole situation. And certainly he's going to do, he's already done and is going to continue to do things much better than Kamala Harris ever could have possibly thought of doing. But spending a little bit less than the opposition is not, the supposed opposition at least, is not, it's not the way it's supposed to go. So like I said on yesterday's video, these Doge dividend checks that they keep talking about, that's buying votes. Stop it. Stop it. That's a move straight out of the Democratic playbook. Stop doing that. All right. Enough of the politics stuff. Let's go over some of the books. got a big old pile of books here. So, all right. I finished Labyrinth of the Spirits, the last of the that series I've been talking about. This takes every other book in the series. It creates a great follow-up to what's happened, and has such great character development in it. This easily could have been 2 or 3 more books. Easily. But it's all wrapped up into one. I'm very, very, very happy with this 4th book, the ending of the series. I don't know if I brought it out. No, I didn't. I also finished the 5th book of the 4-book series, the short stories. I'll be honest, it left a lot to be desired. It was not everything I was hoping for. Some of the stories were good in it, but every other book in this series I gave 5 out of 5 stars. That one I think I gave 4, 3.5. 4 is being a little generous. But I'm glad I read it. And it was pretty short. So that's that. Ahab's Comfort seemed like it was pretty dry, but it's not want to stay lit very well. I did go ahead and order the last 3 books that he wrote. So I have all of the books that he wrote now at this point, I think. And these 3 are, they're, I guess you could call them more YA. Bigger font. But The Midnight Palace. And again, they're all by same author. So I got that one. The Prince of Mist. And those of you that are not familiar, YA just stands for young adult. The Watcher in the Shadows. And again, none of these are really all that big. And again, pretty big font, so I'll read through those. So what I've started doing, audio. I mentioned I was going to start this Don Quixote. And I'm a little ways into it. I think about 10% with the book. It's good so far. It's definitely not what I was expecting. I didn't really know anything about the book, honestly. But since the other guy is a Spanish author, I figured I'd continue with the Spanish author theme, and that's a good classic to get under my belt. So I'm listening to that here and there. So that's going. So I'm doing that on audio, and I follow along in the physical copy. That's what I like to do with my audiobooks. Still reading Murdering Van Gogh. About halfway through it, a little more than halfway through it. Great book. And again, I'm reading this on my Kindle at night before bed, so maybe a chapter a night or so. So I'm not rushing through that book or anything like that. But it's a really good book. If you're interested in Van Gogh, it's a sort of a historical fiction. It's taking into account sort of a section of Van Gogh's life. The places, the people in the story, that's all real. There's some journal entries, which are actually taken, I believe, from his notes between him and his brother Theo. There's a little bit of some extra fictional romance accounts and stuff that I'm pretty sure didn't actually happen, but at least not to my knowledge. But great book. If you're interested in Van Gogh at all, it's a great read. And then I got 2 other books yesterday. I've been going and watching some more of I've mentioned him on this channel before, Johnny Keane. I'll link down below if you guys are interested. He does a lot of it's a booktube channel. Does a lot of stuff on Christian books, Christian commentary, readings, and such. Journaling, all of that. I was going back and watching some of his other videos yesterday, and he talks a lot about 2 different collections, I guess you could call them, of books. And anytime he sees any of the books in these collections, he just picks them up. So they haven't been disappointing reads at all yet. So I was perusing around on the website for the publishers, and I saw these 2 at the bookstore yesterday, so I picked one up from each of the 2, and I'll give them a go. So the first one, the first sort of publisher, I guess they're a publisher. They do a lot of international author translations and such. They're called the Europa editions. And so this one is called the Cafe with No Name. And just real quick by way of what it's about. Summer 1966, Robert Simon is in his early 30s. His childhood was not easy. He lost both parents in the war and was raised in a home for orphans. Yet he grows into a warm-hearted, hardworking, determined young man with a dream. When the owners of the corner cafe in the Carmelite Market Square shutter their business, Robert recognizes this as his moment. The place is dark, dilapidated, and poor neighborhood of the Austrian capital. But lately, Vienna has been aquiver with new possibilities and a growing desire for renewal. The newspapers in which fishmongers wrap their char and trout for the Danube speak of great things to come, a bright future beginning to rise from the quagmire of the past. Enlivened by those promises, Robert refurbishes the cafe, and soon customers arrive. They come in search of a convivial place to gather, talk, and read, or just sit and be with their thoughts. They bring their stories of passion, friendship, abandonment, bereavement, and joy. Some are in search of company or solace, while others long for love. As the city is transformed, Robert's Cafe becomes a place of refuge from which to observe, to mourn, and rejoice. So, it sounded interesting. Not a super long read. It's just shy of 200 pages. So, Robert Seethaler, The Cafe with No Name. So I'm going to start reading that one. Probably sometime soon. I think this will probably be a physical read, probably not an audio. Who knows? We'll see. it's going to take me quite a while to get through Don Quixote, so. But the Europa editions is one that he's often talking about. So this is one of their newer publications, I believe. So I figure it's a good starting spot. Seemed like a lighthearted book, so get into that. The other collection that he's often talking about is the New York Times Book Review. And this book is called The Savage Detectives by Roberto Bolaño. In this dazzling novel, the book that establishes his international reputation, Robert Bolaño tells the story of two modern-day Quixotes, the last survivors of an underground literary movement, perhaps of literature itself. On a tragic quest through a darkening and tropic universe, our own, The Savage Detectives is an exuberant, raunchy, wild, inventive, and ambitious novel from one of the greatest Latin American authors of our age. I don't know. Sounds interesting. Pretty cool cover. And it's one of the New York Times book review series, so that was the other one that he had recommended, so here we are. So those are the books. That I plan on getting to eventually, so that's pretty much it. Not too much else to talk about. Don't want to go on any other long political rants or anything of that sort. Other than to say, it's important to keep a level head and perspective of all the things that are going on. You know, the news media, we've spent so long being distrustful of all the narratives that the left has been pushing, and when they were in power, and now with the right in power, I'm hearing some more things that I agree with in some regards, and others, you know, maybe not so much, especially about the congressional spending. This is one of the reasons that that the executive is over time has taken so much power, is because Congress can't do anything correctly. They don't seem to understand, apparently, that part of the directive that they were elected on was to cut spending. So they're going to come forward with a bigger spending bill than the last time. Nonsense. But, you know, I think they're looking to hopefully buy some votes is what it sounds like. Honestly, I don't think that there's going to be a check coming to anybody. I think that's all just talk. I hope it's just talk. Again, do I have use for a couple $1,000s? Sure. Even a couple $100? Sure. But, you know, ironically enough, if I get a check, it's going to go to pay my state taxes. Well, let me rephrase that. Property taxes and school taxes. So, one more quick, interesting piece of overreach, and I don't know if this has made national headlines, but something that I hear about here being in New York. Apparently Trump has squashed this. There's, if you're not familiar, there's been talk of, actually is implemented, congestion tolls, essentially, driving through Manhattan during rush hour or during, peak busy times, to try to cut down on vehicle congestion in Manhattan. And they were going to implement that right before the elections, and then it mysteriously went on hold prior to elections. And then right after Trump won, they put the tolls through, started that up. And Trump just came on board and said, nope, can't do that. That's putting an unnecessary burden on the working class. Now, I've got mixed feelings on the congestion toll. It is a mess in Manhattan in a car. It's absolutely horrible. But I don't necessarily think, I think that's overreach for a president to tell New York City they can't instate a toll. MTA or New York City mass transit, so that's subways, buses, all that, perpetually in debt, losing business. People skip the tolls all the time, jump the turnstiles, all that kind of stuff, not to pay for subways and all that. And quite frankly, not living in the city, I couldn't care less. But that is a way that New York State is looking to make money and close a budget gap. And I don't really know that it's the President of the United States' place to tell a state that they can't raise revenue in a specific manner like that. So it's sort of been a game from the get-go, right? So they talk about instating this, and then they're going to pause it for elections, and then they're going to reinstate it after elections. It's been a game, really, a political game. And our governor here is not very bright, shall we say. She's definition of a political creature. But again, I do think that's a bit overreach for the president to be coming in and saying we can't do this. But there's a lot of money in Manhattan, and money does speak, doesn't it? So, yep, that's a lot for one video. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys if you stuck around this long, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.